loves, it's Niecy here, and I just wanted to stop in with this week's message because God has been working on me all week long with this message, and so I just wanted to be able to come and share it with you. So, this week's theme for me has been all about love easily, let go easily. And that thought came to me earlier this week. I follow a really neat woman on social media. Her name is Catherine Budick. I also take a lot of her yoga classes online, and she's just a really, really brilliant and fabulous soul. And she was featured in an article about her 5 ways to abundant living. And the fifth thing that she listed was this idea of love easily, let go easily. And I literally was reading the article going, yes, 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 because it just felt so good and it felt like exactly how I often feel. Like, we shouldn't play games about love. We should just love. We should be love. We should always be striving to be more loving and to just love, be. But sometimes we have to realize that when you love easily and you just try to walk and talk and be love, it means you're going to have to let it go sometimes. And I really don't like the notion of losing love because I'm one of those people that feel like once you have my heart, you will always have my heart. I may have to love you up close. I tweeted that one night. I said, if I love you up close or if I love you afar, all I want to do is be loved. Please let me be. And it can be so hard sometimes when all we want to do is be loved, but we seem to attach that love to expectations or to people who let us down, and then love hurts. So I was so excited about this idea of love easily, let go easily. And as I sat with it more and more this week, like I said, God started to deal with me on it because I have been in situations where it's been really hard for me to let go of things. Months, years. I actually started praying and reading through some of my old journals because I was trying to figure out at what point after my separation from my husband was I able to just let go. Because I remember sitting in that hurt and sitting in that zone of expectation of him, expectation that something was going to change, anticipation and hope, hope in God. I prayed probably for 2 straight years after I left Baltimore that God would save my marriage. And I love I love him. I love him. He's the father of my son. I love him to this day. But during that time, I just remember holding on and grasping to every little bit of hope that I could, and my expectations um, of my love were not realistic to where he was at. And so I have found myself where I love deeply and I love easily, but letting go has not been so easy for me. I recently went through a situation a few months ago, and I was sitting in this cloud of um, sadness and hurt. I was just really hurt. And I had lunch with a really good friend one day, and I was telling her what happened and just how things seemed to shift so quickly. And she said something to me that stuck with me in that moment, and that really was like a weight and a burden lifted off my shoulders at that time. She said to me, Niecy, you're creating your own suffering. Just let it go. And I realized, yeah, by not letting this thing go, by not really and truly releasing it, I was creating my own suffering. I was choosing in that moment to sit in that cloud, to stay in that cloud, and to let that cloud, it ruled my every waking thought, it ruled my mind my entire day. The moment I would have a moment of silence, like I would transition from a meeting back to the office or something like that, the moment that I had a moment to myself, my thoughts were consumed because I allowed for this situation to just sit on me. Um, and 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 it's been a repeated process. I think over the past 5 months, I've been fighting to let it truly go, and it's hard because I love easily, and so it's been hard to let it go. And so at this week, as I was reflecting on that idea, love easily, I'm like, okay, I've got that down. It's the letting go easily part that has been really hard for me. And so I just started to share a few of my thoughts. Um, a lot of times things come to me and I just need to get them out. And so I started to share a few of my thoughts on Twitter. And um, like I said, I've really been sitting with this idea of love easily, let go easily all week. And I've been trying to make sense of it. And so on Thursday night, I just started to think about it, and it really started to be deposited into my spirit. You know, you don't love by halves. I don't love by halves. When I love, I pour everything that I am into it. And so, naturally letting go of a great love, it's going to take time. It just is. You don't love with all that you are and then overnight say, okay, I'm good. I'm letting it go. It's okay if you need to take time before you can let it go. If you need to work through all of the emotions that you're going to feel, sadness, hurt, a little bit of bitterness, maybe some unforgiveness, maybe some shame, maybe some guilt, maybe looking at the situation and you're seeing where you misstepped in the situation and now you feel shame and guilt. You have to sit with that for a little bit in order to fully process it. Um, you know, but while you're going through this, it's important to keep remembering that at any time, your freedom is available. You just have to choose in your heart to let it go. You know, when we choose to let it go, we're truly making a choice to let go of suffering, to stop the suffering, to stop the mental trailer playing in our heads over and over and over again, to create some peace within our soul. I think what that means to love easily and let go easily, it truly just, it limits the amount of suffering in our lives. And it just allows for more abundance. If you love easily and you let go easily, if you let yourself sit in it only for a moment, and then you get busy creating the space that you need to create in order to truly let it go, you move from glory to glory a little quicker. You don't stay in that place of suffering. You can stay in that place of suffering. I think we've all seen people who have lived their lives depressed, angry at the world, not willing to make friends because everyone is against them. They stay in that place of not just letting it go. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be there. 5 months has been too long for me to be in this place. This week, I literally, after 5 months of sitting in this, I literally said, I don't want to do this anymore. I've got life to live. I have a little boy who is growing every day, who I'm already freaking out that in 10 years, he's going to be 15 years old. In 15 years, he's going to be out of my house. I don't have days to sit suffering because I can't let it go. You shouldn't feel forced to let it go before you're ready. But you should know that at any time, you have the power to just let it go. By not letting go is adding to your suffering. It's going to add to your suffering and it's going to keep you in that place of despair. At any moment, at any moment when you're ready, you can let it go. Confirmation came this week, and I love it. That's how I know when Spirit's really trying to teach me a lesson, is because confirmation will come from different places. This week, I was literally kind of forced to let it go. I just realized I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of bringing this pain into my life. I'm tired of having expectations that are not under my control. And if I'm going to trust God, I better just trust Him. And I should probably just remove myself from the equation. And so, Iyanla Van Zant posted this on her Facebook page the other night, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I just wanted to leave you with that tonight and share that with you. She said, forgiveness is a process of giving up the old for something new. Old experiences and memories that we hold on to in anger, resentment, shame, or guilt cloud our spirit. The truth is, everything that has happened had to happen. It was a growth experience. There was something you needed to learn. If you stay angry, hurt, afraid, ashamed, or guilty, you miss the lesson. You will be stuck in a cloud of pain. That was so good for me because I know that cloud of pain. It is all too familiar to me. But I also know that this is the truth. Everything had to happen because God is in control. And He controls every single thing that happens in our lives. And so it had to happen. So the other thing that I took from that is not letting go keeps us from our lesson and keeps us from moving on. So what is it that we just need to do to work through whatever it is we need to work through so that we can let go, we can learn the lesson, and we can move on? Because if there's anything I know, it's that God will keep giving us the lesson until we've learned to move on. I am praying that this message touches someone's heart. I am praying that this message ministers to exactly who it needs to minister to, because I know I needed it this week. I love you all so much. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Good night.